and a very warm welcome to the Swedish Alumni Network India's National Annual Conclave. My name is Dolly Berry, and I head the Alumni Project Office in India from Business Sweden. I'm also joined in Bangalore by Amrit Hinduja, my colleague, and also the one heading the Business Sweden office for Bangalore. The conclave today is organized by the Swedish Institute and Business Sweden in partnership with Idobro and the RISE Summit 2023. This initiative is supported by Team Sweden, including the Embassy of Sweden and the Consulate General in Mumbai. To commence this session, I will invite Ms. Karen Shaiva, Chief Impact Officer of Idobro and Managing Trustee of the RISE Infinity Foundation. Karen, over to you. And if you'd like to share the screen as well, Anthony, please help us with that.
So good evening, everyone. And of course, good morning for SI team in Stockholm. It's really a pleasure to welcome all of you to this really momentous moment, because it's the very first Swedish Alumni Network India National Annual Conclave. I think it's just stupendous in my mind, because if you see right behind me, we have two standees from 2020, just before the pandemic in January of 2020, where we hosted the National Board Member Conclave, and so I'm just so pleased that we have now gone to the whole alumni itself, and it is truly our pleasure. Of course, to have this as part of the RISE World Summit, and that also is another milestone for us because it is the 10th anniversary. So it's, as a Sweden alumni myself, I think for me, you can't have a better combination than this. So thank you so very much for the opportunity, both the Swedish Institute and for Business Sweden for partnering with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. With that, I invite Ms. Anna Lekvall, the Consul General of Sweden in Mumbai, to give her opening remarks. Anna, over to you.
Thank you very much. Is sitting fine here, or Karen was elegant standing? But if you don't mind, this is. I also have a few notes. I don't want to miss it. To be here, and thank you again, everyone, for pulling all this together. It's amazing, Karen. Here to membership of all alumni. And so many of you participating in this today. It's fantastic. The alumni network and from the Swedish Institute is such an important part of the Swedish-India relationship. We are constantly working with the alumni in so many ways. We are always there to, and you are there to be a part of our events that we either host or we speak, or we are speaking at your events or yours at ours. There's a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement, and that is so important. We also engage with you in so many ways, like your expertise, and you collaborate with you on a number of events where we've been engaging with the alumni network. Just to mention a couple over the past year. With Karen and Idobro, we've been doing the Nobel Prize Teacher Summit for a couple of years now. We have worked on the sustainability mapping of Swedish companies with Sarah and the Russianese team. We have been doing plugging events in Pune with the Pune team. We have done plugging events in Mumbai with the Mumbai team. And we have, what else am I missing? There's something important I wanted to mention. Of course, lots of gender equality we've done with Red Dot over the years. And with all of you to engage in various ways. Of course, for the consulate region and represent Sweden here. So of course, it's natural from our end that we engage mostly with them. But I also know that from the embassy side, cherish very much the engagements of the alumni all over India. You're very much our best loyal supporters. You embody Swedish values that you have been part of in your education in Sweden and also carry on here. And I really find that is the basis. Many of these key values like sustainability, innovation, gender equality, the sustainable development goals in overall is really the connection point between the Swedish offices here and the both consulate and embassy and the whole of Team Sweden, as Business Sweden represented, also working on this, and with the whole alumni network. And it's incredible connect. It's a very, very strong one. And we so much appreciate the value you create in your engagements, just by connecting, being there in your various both activities, as well as the various connections that we create. You create with your network and that we create together. So that is it's an immensely important, and I'll repeat again, that we didn't surprise us last year when you were nominated for the best alumni network by the Swedish Institute, because we've seen all the engagement, all the incredible energy and activities, and so much embodying these important values that we are working towards. So thank you so much for all of that engagement. I'm not finished. I'm also saying a few words about the future, but I really want to really emphasize the important engagement that you do and how much we value it. Then a few years about the year ahead from us, from Sweden, India, and what we're looking at. We see it as a bit of an extra special year, I would say. We have a jubilee year. Is still on? It feels like it comes and goes. You hear me? Yeah, it's fine. Hello? Is that working now?
Yes, Anna, we hear you now.
Thank you. So the coming year is a jubilee year. India, Sweden is celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relationships. We are also have a number of big celebrations. There are also many Swedish companies that have special celebrations this year. One of the most significant ones is actually SKF that celebrates 100 years in India, which is incredibly impressive and really signifies how long the story is of the Sweden-India trade relations. Ericsson, not the least, also has 120 years this year in India. So I really think that if there's anything that is deep and strong, it's these connections. But many of the others as well. There are many different, many actually company celebrations this year of various, how do you call it, significant milestones that are happening. And the consulates, we also have one. You know what we are celebrating? Does anyone know? We are celebrating 10 years in Mumbai. Yes. Absolutely. So we are also looking at this. So what does this mean? Well, it means that the embassies, consulate, Business Sweden, the chambers of commerce, the very much of the sort of heart of Team Sweden in India. We are all planning various engagements around the year to showcase this, to celebrate it in various ways. We're kicking off, I would say, in Pune on 11th of March, because we're going to do a bit of with the companies as the historical connection in Pune, and we also have a deputy minister, state secretary for trade coming, and there's also connected to the day that SKF will celebrate its 100th year. So that's a kickoff for us also in our region. And then we are mainly planning, and also for the embassy, mainly on the second half of the year, Jubilee Week, also Nobel Weeks, but also some engagements. And we were looking to do quite a few of the SI activities and toolkits. And of course, we will be connecting with you. Salone is our key person. If anyone doesn't know Salone now, then this is the time to really take it in. Salone is steering most of this from the consulate side. And we're incredibly happy to have Salone with us at the consulate you started in September. And, so for all of this engagement, Salone will be our key person, and for you to engage with as well. So having said all this, we look forward to a very exciting year. We're certainly going to be lots of engagement, and we look forward to hearing from you. What are your plans? What are you going to do? You know, where is your, what do you think? And where can we, of course, both cooperate and support each other in the various ways? So those are my what I wanted to say. Did I miss anything key? No? Thank you so much again for the opportunity. Lovely to see you all.
To build up a little bit more about what Anna said on the business community in India, I will invite Amrit to speak about how we work from Business Sweden as the project of management office here in India, and also our companies connect. Amrit, over to you.
No, thank you, Dolly. It's indeed great to see so many of us here together this evening. I think Nicholas at the Swedish Institute and us are all the time thinking about how do we continuously engage with you, how do we continuously add to the tremendous energy that this network has already in our own small way, and how can we create opportunities for us to keep the momentum going. And this idea of this hybrid conclave is in our small way contributing to this thought process that we'd like to bring everybody together as many times as possible. Hopefully this would be the first of many national annual conclaves. Of course, we would all like to maybe physically be at the same place, and maybe that's a challenge we will put to ourselves next year in the organizing team, that can we get physically together. But of course, this is the first step that we said, let's try this in hybrid mode. We had Karen who graciously accepted to keep this as part of the RISE Summit, which previously has hosted such brainstorm sessions on an annual basis with the alumni. So we kind of put these two and two together, and we said, let's do it hybrid. Let's meet where we can meet. So today we're very happy that we're meeting physically in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and the others who cannot physically come to the various venues. Thank you so much for joining virtually. Special shout out and commitment to Elsa. I saw that you're sitting in Australia, so it's past midnight for you. And we're really thankful for alumni like you and everyone else who show their dedication to this network and to friends in this network. When we met in December, the Swedish Institute and alumni of the Swedish Institute Management Program, it was very clearly visible that we're only tapping the surface of an iceberg, really, in terms of what we can do together. The Swedish Institute and us hosted something called the Sustainability Labs, which was an exploratory way to get alumni together and identify possible collaborations. We will speak more of it later today in the agenda. And I think during this session, we realized that the importance to actually share more and get you all together. And of course, maybe then also put up a challenge among all the celebrations that Anna mentioned earlier, the 10 years, the 15 years, and various celebrations. Maybe at the end of this year, we can celebrate being the best alumni network again, globally. So maybe our own chapters will have our own celebration in some way to add to the line of celebrations that Sweden has this year. We have been able to, through this SI alumni office that Business Sweden runs, been able to support various projects in the past. And while I don't want to steal the thunder from the chapters on what they have done, I'd just like to mention a few of these just to give you an idea of how this alumni office works in many ways. Overall, the mission is how can we strengthen the projects and the work we want to do. And I think we've been able to do this in various projects. A few I can highlight is, for example, the Bangalore chapter a year ago did a event on energy storage with Kripanand leading it, who is now walking into this room as we speak. And I think the idea was, how do we bring similar Swedish companies interested on this subject together on an important subject of sustainability. We've been able to link Swedish companies to the projects. For example, Alpha Lavelle in the diversity discussions in Pune. The Pune chapter also hosted a championship for the alumni through a toolkit, which through the Swedish Chamber of Commerce, we were able to scale up to various employees of Swedish companies. We were able to support with blogging events, both in Bombay and in Pune, with other alumni networks, even the US alumni network of the Arizona University. Recently, the Delhi chapter hosted an event on gender diversity, if I were to say in a very crude and high way, where we were able to partner with Kunskapsskolan to talk about how at a young age they work with infusing gender diversity and gender equality thoughts in young children. I think the overall idea is we would like to link what is happening in Team Sweden with you. And I think that's the mission that SI and us have. How do we bring it closer from a business perspective? From our side, Dolly is our key person who is leading this work on a day-to-day basis. I think she's a known face to most. Whenever you are coming up with the program, whenever you have a project, feel free to reach out to us, especially at the conceptualization stage, so we can help contribute to that very early, to link it to Team Sweden's agenda in India, to link it to Swedish business, and try to see how can we make more business sense for you. At the end of the day, something that we have learned, the most successful projects that we have seen are those where it is linked to your business and your daily work. So we would very much like to engage to see how programs can be linked to your everyday work. With that, I hope we've been able to set a context on how this whole alumni conclave came to be thinking, and also some thoughts on how we have to take it ahead. With that, Dolly, back to you.
Thank you, Amrit. So now on to the real meat for the evening, or maybe mock meat for the vegetarians. Let's get started with some inspiring stories from what the chapters all across India have done. So I will first request Anthony to move on to the next slide. Great, thank you. We start with Bengaluru, represented today by Dr. Renuka Jain. And over to you, Renuka. Anthony, the next slide, please.
Thank you, Dolly. First of all, I would like to, on SANI Bengaluru chapter, on behalf of SANI Bengaluru chapter, I want to thank Amrit, Karon, and Team Sweden to arrange this annual conclave and bringing all the chapters together. We are really excited for the next year events if we do it together. This year we have worked on various events like on the sustainability development goals. SDG 16 was the focus of this year, and we have conducted the sustainability challenge proposals for peaceful and inclusive societies. And this work was done at Department of Sociology at Christ University. And there were around 70 students who participated, and they were into the 5 or 6 groups. And we got around 10 to 12 very interesting proposals coming out from for the SDG 16 goals. And we further look to take them forward as a proposal, or as a for the students to take that projects on sustainable SDG 16 challenge of peaceful and inclusive society. We had another event on art competition, which was for basic rights. That was also the winner. Pictures are all there, which was really excited, and we got a good overwhelming response for this painting competition also. Apart from that, the major thing was the collaboration with Embassy of Sweden, Delhi, for the Swedish higher education and research delegation coming to India, where the main purpose was to collaborate with the universities and institutes, and also the networking meeting of the alumni in Bengaluru, Chennai and Hyderabad back to back. And I'm really glad that we could meet all the alumni out in these cities. And also they supported in the Sweden study fair, which was well received in Bengaluru, Chennai and Hyderabad. This year, we are planning to have the AGM today, and we are planning as the focus would be on SDG 12 and 16. We will be having a brainstorming session soon after this conclave, and we are looking forward for a very fruitful year also again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Renuka. Anthony, the next slide, please. And with this, I'm going to turn the camera to my neighbor on the table, Sri Kumar, who's the Delhi chair.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So I would like to begin with so there's a clear division of labor in Delhi chapter where we're working, and I'll take the credit of presenting this slide, but with a humble submission that it's an effort of all the team members who have volunteered to make it a success. So what you see in front of you is two pictures. One, which is a workshop which is conducted on comprehensive sexuality education in a low-income school. And the larger chapter, or the second picture, which talks about bringing people from different background. It includes a transgender person, representative from private schools, somebody who has worked for 30 years in the field of masculinity, and faith-based organization. Just to give you a brief context, why this thought came to work in this field. So it's gender equality, but let's be clear on this, that gender equality is not just a women issue. It's equally the issue of men and boys. And what started conceptualizing why to do and how to do this workshop is the UNESCO reports 2021, which repeatedly points towards the failure. And I would like to use the word backlash, which is coming from men and boys when we are working in women empowerment. Where are these positive masculinities? What are the models of positive masculinities? And it needs to be very, very contextually specific models, which in a country like India, which is highly diverse, we have to create these models. And the topic itself was transforming masculinities in the relevance of Gandhi. There was a purpose behind choosing 30th January as the date of this event. This is also the day when Gandhi was assassinated. Now, what we're asking here through this initial conversation is to create a critical mass of change, bringing focus towards not just corporates, the policymakers, the government, the stakeholders, NGOs, civil societies, academicians, activists, and we're able to pull faith-based organizations, representative from different fields, to first create focus on the issues of men and boys. And this is where I connect day one activity with the day two activity. When working on gender equality with boys, there is a clear sense of resentment. There is a clear sense of injustice and unfair treatment given to boys when they respond that we are facing undue violence. And I'll connect it to the second report, which is Pew research report, which came in last year, 2 reports on religious segregation, the condition of secularism in India, and how Indians view gender roles in family and society. And one interesting finding is everybody believes in gender equality, according to the report. But when it comes to limited jobs, 88% of even the educated youth in this country believe that men have special privilege of having access to that right. So where do we have this alternative masculinity in men and boys who will compromise, who will work with this feminist counterpart? So we have to look for backlash from the societies. We have to look for interventions at multiple levels. It's an open field. It's an open challenge, which I think as a society, and the report talks about that out of 98,000 plus NGOs working in India, we have just 100 working in the field of engaging with men and boys. And in the picture which you see in front of with activity 2, the person sitting at the center is Mr. Satish Kumar, working for 35 years in this through Center for Health and Social Justice, and bringing up stories from areas like Chhattisgarh. And the same time, we have somebody transgender, Jane Kaushik, who not just enriched our board, but shared at what levels of discrimination they're facing from men and boys. So everything, like if I can relate to one of the news in the newspaper last week, when India's top wrestlers, the women wrestlers, Olympic medal winners are fighting for justice in open against this toxic masculinity. So we can think that the whole agenda of women equality will not succeed unless we address the issues of men and boys. So with that noble idea, I would invite all the members at multiple interventions wherever we can, and try to bring focus back to men and boys. And I cannot end this conversation without thanking Padmini and other members, the volunteers who helped this event possible. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Amrit, for letting me go with this idea. And we're able to, I think the kickstart, and like this, there's a concept in physics, there's escape velocity. So we are able to move out of this escape velocity and bring focus on the issues of masculinity and boys in this particular case. I would like to end my conversation with that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shri. Very inspiring indeed. Anthony, we can move on to the next slide, please. From Maharashtra and Goa, I invite Ms. Ankita Shroff to take us through her presentation. Ankita, over to you.
Ankita, you're on mute.
Hello. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, yes. Good evening, everyone. First of all, a warm welcome for all the chapters, and it's so nice to meet everyone after a really long time. It's been a very impactful and exciting journey for the Maharashtra and Goa chapter in the year 2022, with almost 6 physical events and about 1 online event. We've gotten an opportunity to collaborate with different stakeholders. It could be like the government, the NGOs, the corporates, colleges, and the events that we did were from different SDG goals that we covered, right? From 4, 5, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 17. But I think primarily the main focus for us was 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. And y'all can see the scale and what we worked on with the Plogathon with the Pune Municipal Corporation. I'll just give a glimpse of what else we've done, and then I'll just go in detail. So we've done the digital literacy program as well with women empowerment of how we can incorporate digital media for selling their products. Then we went and did the Eat Smart Challenge with students, where we spoke about the healthy food design competition and future food take. The next thing that we did was create awareness about child sex awareness, and we did a conference as well on different SDG goals. And this was with different partners, and we're looking at about 200 minimum people at each of these events. The next one that we did was a close swap and a sustainability fest, where we spoke about different green champions who spoke about their green products and services. We swapped about 70 different clothes, and a very youth-centric collaborative effort this was. Moving on, we did the plastic-free challenge with Swedish company, and obviously this was with the Swedish Corporate Championship that we've been doing for the last 2 years, where we give online challenges and all corporates take part in this. It's been a successful event again. And last but not the least, I think I can speak on this, which is the Pune Plogathon with the PMC. We're talking about 146 people actually participating in this event, which was taken over the entire Pune with about 55 areas all across Pune. We broke a record of Asia Book of Record, which was the Asia and the World Book of Records, by collecting 4,777 kgs of waste, which was segregated later and given. The collaboration went most importantly, it was the government, the PMC. We had Pune Ploggers, we had SWAT, who are the waste pickers who help in segregating and managing the entire waste system in Pune. Different NGOs like the Eco Factory Foundation, we had Sprout. So it was a big collaborative effort, which was actually all across the Pune, the media, everyone was involved, and it was a successful event. We had Anna who came as well. From the Member of Parliaments, we had Supriya Sule, who actually spoke about how every citizen can make a difference. And we took an oath of little small things that we can do in our house, right from carrying a bag or waste segregation or using the red dot for your sanitary napkins. So that's what the oath was taken by about physically by at least 2,000-3,000 people. We also gave plants as a token to all the participants who actually took part in the Plogathon. So this happened on the 5th of June, the World Environment Day. And I think this is going to be something that every year we want to do it with the government at that scale. And we're very proud with the support, the Swedish Institute, the SI alumni members, and everyone who's actually helped us to make this event such a grand success. So this was something which really, took the entire Pune on this. So this was divided in 3 different weeks that we did, where we actually had 1 week where we had installations in the city from plastic. As you can see, Pune is made out of plastic bottles, the installation on that picture. You can see different waste pickers actually taking plastic, these are these Harpic bottles where they made installations all across the city so that people can join and make a difference in this. I mean, plogging is a new concept, but I think it was something where everyone in Pune wanted to do it. And, we yet get calls when is the Plogathon going to take place next year? So it's been a very impactful, and the scale of the event was something which the entire, the board has been responsible to take it to that level. Moving on, I think the next year, I think the SDGs that our focus is 12 and 16, 11, I'm sorry, is it 11 and 16, and we're really excited to work on this. More importantly, with the Pune Plogathon, the municipal corporation wants to take it to include something where we can actually focus on how this waste can be taken up to, proper segregation and showcase different products that are made out of waste. For example, Recharka, which actually makes bags out of waste, and so that people can start taking action by consuming these waste product materials that are made. So I think, first of all, I would like to thank the board who's given me an opportunity to speak about what Pune has been doing, the Maharashtra and Goa chapter we're doing. So next year has been very exciting. We're definitely going to brainstorm on what events we're going to do for the next year. I would like to end this little, a presentation by saying it's amazing what doors can open if you reach out to people with a smile, friendly attitude, and a desire to make a positive impact. And I think with Swedish Institute and the entire alumni, that's what we all are doing, is to make a positive impact and, spread a smile. So thank you, and looking forward to make more impact in the city and in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita, for that lovely presentation, that big smile that I can see right now, and many congratulations, I think I can say from all of us on the feat that you've really managed to take through. There were a lot of exclamations of wow over here when you were saying out the numbers loud. So once again, many congratulations. Moving on, I think we have the Mumbai chapter. If Anthony, you could move on to the next slide, please. Beroz, do we have you online? Or in person?
Hello, everybody. Must congratulate the Pune team for doing what you have done. It was really very, very sort of encouraging. And it was an inspiration for all of us also, that we could really look at something different. Talking about the Mumbai chapter, we too have done about 6 events during the year. And the high point of our, events was the
Anthony, in the meanwhile, I think you can skip to the next slide, please. Thank you.
hello. Okay. So the event that we feel was kind of quite something that would bring out a lot of advantages in the long run. We planned a fellowship program, for the youth, which we have started sometime in October, where we invited the youth between the age groups of 18 to 30 to apply for the program with a project on ESG mind. Everybody sort of, we had a program in which the master classes were conducted for the youth to understand the issues of ESG in a much kind of deeper way. We totally 30 people were came forward with by wanting to join the fellowship program. Interviews were taken, and about 10 youth were recruited for the fellowship program. We engage the alumni as well as the Swedish companies as mentors and experts is what we have in. The commitment of 3 to 5 hours for 4 to 5 months is what was expected from the youth as well as the mentors. The action so far which has happened is that these 30 youth, the 30 students which came and enrolled themselves were all either were from Mumbai, and they were from undersourced communities. We selected 9 out of them after a proper interview and a proper selection process. Master classes were held, as I mentioned, on issues of circularity, governance, and responsible finance by our alumni. And mentors were have been assigned to each student. As we speak, the process is on, and the students have pitched their project ideas, and the learning challenges will be done. The mentoring program is happening right now. In the jury will be then identified from Swedish alumni as well as companies to announce the top 3 ideas for recognition, and everybody will get certificates for participation. So this program is still in progress, and we've not finalized. It'll get finalized sometime in March. However, the important thing, what was in mind is a long-term view that if every year we do this kind of a program using about 10 to 12 students and fellows, within about 5 years, we'll have a small community of 50 such fellows to whom would be more into the ingrained into the ESG fellowship space. So this according to us, but besides this, what we have done during the year is we had one online program on mindfulness, because the current challenge that we see is the disruptive environment that we live in, where mindfulness is becoming a challenge. It was a 90-minute session, which was facilitated by Supreet Singh of the Red Dot Foundation. And the session included a lot of aspects as to how one deals with constant change in day-to-day life to become more resilient and more active. 8 members of the alumni attended and found the session to be very practical. However, we have, this kind of a program was very, very welcomed by a lot of people, and maybe we would do it again sometime. The next program that was done during the year was the World Environment Day on the 4th and the 5th of June. where we went to one of the beaches in Mumbai in Prabhadevi and did a beach cleaning exercise. The objective was to create awareness for mitigating the problem caused due to dumping plastic and other debris by city dwellers and the hazards that it poses on marine life. The event was executed by way of a team race, and which added a lot of fun to the exercise. So there were 4 teams which were created. There were 103 people, by the way, who came in for this event. And we made 4 teams, and we said whichever team in half an hour could collect the highest amount of debris, or waste, was kind of, given a little gift. The entire engagement was curated by Sumit Gade, one of our board members, and the volunteers of Pragati Holistic Development Trust. We collected 627 kgs of plastic waste in half an hour on that day on the beach. So this was, again, a lot of people. There were some representatives from the Bombay Municipal Corporation, etc., who came for this program, and they were quite kind of, were very happy that we should have done something so different and at the same time something that was very effective. There was another virtual event that we had on 29th October, which was done by one of our board members, Elsa Marie de Silva, to bring forth the various aspects of peace, which was attended by the alumni. The Peace Index was explained, the drivers of peace was explained, and the aspects of SDG 16 and its interconnections with business, politics, daily life, etc. were kind of discussed. The case study of how Red Dot Foundation, that is Elsa Marie's kind of organization, is working on this SDG 16 to build peace and inclusive communities was also placed before the members. So with this, we did have a couple of, not couple, actually, a fika and a meeting after when the COVID was a little bit at bay. We thought it would be a nice idea to kind of meet, which was also done. So we are kind of very keen that the ESG fellowship program is something that we'll continue for the next 2 or 3 years and see, and so that we understand the impact and the advantages of such an initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beroz. There's a round of applause happening here. I think you can see that and hear it. And
Dolly, if I may say, can you circulate our presentation, because I don't think it moved beyond this.
No, this was the only slide that was put in, Elsa, since we're only taking up 1 slide per chapter.
Okay, fine.
Yes. I do suppose you've also added some comments in the chat for what's happening tomorrow. So please, everyone can have a look in there. Moving on, I invite the Kerala chapter represented by Dr. Mohan Das. So Anthony, if you could move on to the next slide, and Dr. Mohan Das, over to you.
On behalf of Kerala chapter, I request Mr. George Joseph, former chairman, will make the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan Das. Friends, the Kerala chapter has been very active this year also, as usual. We have 30 members. We conducted a total of 6 events this year. They are Ecofika, cloth swapping, never violence, hair rights, and then the art of filmmaking, and of course the annual general meeting. So the program that we are going to focus upon is the art of filmmaking. That was a 2-day residential workshop conducted at Diet Wayanad, and Mr. Francis was the person behind it. And it was a special project that we submitted to the Swedish Institute. They gracefully accepted it, and then we were able to do it. We did it on January 22nd and 23rd, and there were 44 participants. There were 5 teams from 5 schools, 4 students plus 1 teacher. And some students from Diet Wayanad also were there. So total 44 participants were there. On the first day, we started with some theory related to short filmmaking, then how to develop a story, how to write a screenplay, and the different pre-production works, then how to act, then what type of post-production works, how to be done. And in the afternoon, some practical work was given, and 2 themes were given to the children, to the groups. 1, gender equality. 2, drug abuse. 2 teams worked on gender equality and 2 teams on drug abuse. So they developed stories, and these 4 groups came up with 4 screenplays, and they were scrutinized. And then we went to casting. All the participants were given some type of work. Some of them acted, some of them used the camera, some of them were involved in editing, some of them were involved in dubbing, like that. So there ended the first day. On the second day, we selected one of these 4 scripts, and location hunting was done. Then the shooting of the film was done, editing was done, a preview also was done. So the focus was upon the process of short film making, and we were able to come up with a short film also. Then this short film, the short film that was shot there, will be shared in the All India network, WhatsApp group now. Then SANI film clubs were started in all these 5 schools, and these film clubs will produce short films based upon the screenplays that we developed in the workshop, some other screenplays also, and they will be used for awareness classes. The short films that they prepare will be used for awareness classes in 2 areas. 1, gender equality. 2, drug abuse. And we have a plan to conduct a 2nd edition of the Art of Filmmaking also with the consent of Swedish Institute. And there we plan to make more short films and to have a short film festival where the different short films prepared by the SANI film clubs in the different schools will be presented. And that's all about the activity that we have focused upon. There is an exciting news. Day after tomorrow, that is the 4th of February, members of this Kerala chapter are going to Bali, Indonesia for a holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And we're all feeling a little bit left out now that you've spoken about this holiday to Bali. But hopefully we join you together sometime. Moving on, we have a very special guest joining us all the way. Sorry, can I request your attention, please? So we have a very special guest joining us all the way from the Philippines to talk about how things are done a little bit outside of India. So on to the next slide, Anthony. And I invite Mr. Marcus Leslie Sante to give us his presentation. Anthony, if you could also please give him the sharing rights. I think he has a presentation. You could go, yes. Leslie, over to you.
Good evening, Dolly and Nicholas, and thank you very much to the whole India Conclave for allowing me to share what we're doing here in the Philippines. I'll just share my screen a bit. Just 1 sec. I have shortened this. Presentation based on. I do understand I'll be sharing this segment with a colleague from Vietnam. So please bear with me. I'll go through these slides really quickly. So good evening, everyone. I actually envy the India Conclave because we wish to have the same here in the Philippines because we're spread out in different islands. All our different alumni are always wanting to be present, but we wanted to do something similar to this. So maybe this year we'll plan to do something similar to this India Conclave. I wanted to start off with my sharing here from the one of my colleagues who I was classmates with, Ankita Shroff, is here as well. I heard her speak a while ago. Hello, Ankita. This all started off in the Philippines from 2016 when we came back from our Sweden Institute Management Program. And although there were already many Sweden alumni here in the Philippines ever since the World Maritime University were accepting many of them since 1998, we were able to start off the Sweden Alumni Network Philippines in 2016, and we've been growing ever since, accepting even members from different universities. As we have grown year on year since 2017, we actually focused on many different activities, from fellowship activities and also from collaboration with the Swedish Embassy, as well as also other Business Sweden and Team Sweden groups. And I'd like to qualify the Team Sweden definition here in the Philippines are corporations that have established a presence here in the Philippines that want to do some joint projects and actually also want to promote their own sustainability programs to the alumni. So a mix of different things have been done since 2017 and 2021. But after reviewing all this for many years, we actually wanted to focus on what kind of an impact would we want to give to the Philippines, taking off from our learning in Sweden. So similar to very many of the things that you've mentioned from the different chapters in India, and also from Business Sweden in India that I heard Mr. Amrit already mentioned, we're looking for ways where we can collaborate, where impact can be measured. And we actually define it by having our own objective, by defining that, and which you see on the screen. And then we separated the projects from flagship projects to special projects. And flagship ones are the ones that we know are calendared every year, where it supports Swedish Institute and also the Embassy of Sweden. And the passion projects are the ones that are special projects endorsed by a board member, which eventually becomes an annual activity and actually can become a calendared or a flagship project all throughout. So these are examples of what we've done this year in 2022, knowing that we have the support of the Swedish Institute, and thank you so much to Nicholas and team for always supporting us with some seed money. The Embassy of Sweden is supporting us by endorsement, networking support, and also ideation within the embassy committees. And of course, the SANPH are always collaborating for these. The quadruple helix is something we're pushing for as well. So it's always the collaboration between private, the academe, the public sector, and also the different stakeholders, the communities themselves. An example of this is we see from Tetra Pak Philippines supporting a caravan where we actually teach underprivileged children in areas, and even the privileged ones as well. They want to promote that, how to actually upcycle and recycle their waste. So we did activities. It's a 90-minute activity where we had about 100 students or 100 youth members doing the 4 different things: from carton cutting, washing, paper pulp separation, paper drying, and paper forming. And this is all sponsored and covered by Tetra Pak, which is supported by having our boots on the ground, and we got the kids to participate for this. This year, we did 3 things, similar still with what you've done also in India. The plugging activity, where we actually are happy to share with everyone that some local governments here from the Philippines have actually also followed route, and they're actually looking at expanding the program in their own areas, specifically in Las Piñas, where one of our good senators, Senator Villar, has met with the Embassy of Sweden, and she's very excited to do this, to expand this in her area this year. The sustainability soiree is always promoting some fellowship among members, and even non-alumni are also available there to participate and exchange in a sustainability soiree. The SwapCon 2022 is a post-waste disaster program because we felt here in the Philippines, we're always hit by disasters and we're always in the typhoon belt. So we always wanted to know how to deal with the waste as well, how to prepare for that. It's becoming a big thing to consider here because if we do not have a plan within 48 hours, a lot of negative things may happen, whether it's a breakout of some diseases or even some violence and even some other criminal activity will happen if we don't have the proper action items to deal with. And we staged a SwapCon where we had about 91 different local governments participate. And it's also funded by Swedish Institute together with the local government of Iloilo. All of these activities, the Swedish Embassy were present via the presence of the ambassador, either by online or in person. And to end, we also had our alumni meeting recently, and we focused on how to bring in together non-alumni that are very heavy into sustainability. These are corporations, CSOs, NGOs, local governments, and even partly Team Sweden partners. So as you see in the picture, we had about, I think, about less than 50 members who attended in person, but the others attended online. We had about another 15 to 20 attending online. So we spread them out. We gave them different topics where we wanted to focus this year, which are the topics you see there at the bottom: agribusiness, green transition, disaster resiliency, women empowerment, LGBTQIA+, and also the waste management. So these are just a sample of guests we had during the evening. We had from Team Sweden, we had ABB, IKEA, Nordcham, Retail Associates, BTC, Volvo Buses, and Volvo Cars present, and also many from the social sector, NGO, and CSOs. And just to wrap up, these are just an example of action items that we're trying to do this year, trying to make sure that we have some impact, some future plans and targets, and how to make sure that everybody's on board for different themes of the different projects. Thank you so much. I'll end there, and back to you, Dolly.
Thank you so much, Leslie. That was a wonderful glimpse into the work that you're doing. And I think we're all inspired here. We might reach out to you sometime or the other to take this forward. I will now request Nguyen and Chow from the Vietnam office, if you're online, to join us. Nguyen, are you with us? Okay, seems like not. So maybe we can skip their part for now and move into the next part. Anthony, I will need you to project the slide again, please. And with that, I will invite Karen back up on the screen, along with Lucas Green from the Swedish Institute. Lucas, do we have you online?
Yes. Should I get started?
Absolutely.
Should I start? Yes, wonderful.
Hello.
It's lovely to be here. I just jumped in now. Just very briefly, I'm Lucas Green. I'm the program manager at the Swedish Institute. I have been that for the Swedish Institute Management Program Asia before. I've also been working with this sustainability labs, which is another concept that we offer to our leadership alumni. So just briefly today, we wanted to share some words about this new pilot initiative that we tried out in December. We did it both in Delhi and in Bangkok. And it's called the SI Sustainability Labs. And it's an attempt to do more activities on site, also after pandemics, obviously, in the region. So I traveled to Delhi and to Bangkok to run these events. And the objective of those is both to gather you guys, the alumni, to build community around sustainable business practices. It's also obviously to inspire and exchange ideas. So it's really about creating a platform for the participants to share the best practices and expertise within sustainable business. And maybe we can skip through 2 slides to see the agenda. I just wanted to very briefly show you the agenda of this event. So could you please move the slide deck forward? And one more, please. Okay, I will not go through all the details of this agenda, but here you can see we worked very participatory about telling your sustainability story. We had a number of really interesting guest speakers, both who had some connection to Sweden. We had Jaideep, who used to be part of Tetra Pak, to talk about working with the global sustainability agenda in the local Indian national context. We also had the current CEO of IKEA India, Suzanne, speaking. We had Sumant, who's also an alumni, who told his very interesting story about the jewelry business. And then we had some more interactive sessions in the afternoon where we explored different topics on sustainability. And Kiran Bedi, Dr. Kiran Bedi was also with us to tell her story. And in the afternoon, we had something called open space, and that's where the participants of this event set their agenda. They decide what they want to talk about. They define the agenda topics, and then we explore those. And I will have Karen say a few words about the outcome of these conversations. Also, we had the ambassador of Sweden to give the final remarks. Why we're telling this is just to show you another initiative that we're doing. And we piloted this on the alumni from the management program at SI. But in the future, we might come back and we extend the invitations because this was a pilot test. So Karen, we had these open space conversations and where we explored different ideas and potential future projects. Would you like to say something about that?
Thank you very much, Lucas. Yes, this was truly a milestone in the sense of bringing together alumni to actually work on projects, right? And that's the big difference. It was not just to talk about yourselves or talk about what you're doing, etc., but to look at what collectively we could do. And it is something like what we did at SI Talk. So in that sense, we've done it before, but in another sense, it was slightly more different, also in terms of the structure that we had come out with. So we've got 6 projects, because of the interest of time, I don't think we can share the, the entire thing of each of them. But what we can do is perhaps we will share this as an outcome from here, a document that you can then all look and select perhaps if there is a project that reverberates with you. That is one big thing, and then you can get involved in that because there is like an ownership that has been created. Someone who will take ownership of this, and then there is a group around it who have also worked on it. Yeah, we have some also members who've been with us at Delhi, so that's also good, and we can talk about it later on. In each of your different areas, I hope there'll be at least one person who attended the sustainability lab, and perhaps they can share what the experience was like. It was a full fishbowl way of getting to it, so it was incredible, I think, in my opinion. But just to kind of completely to close this very quickly, one of the big things, and I do want to say this, and I want to share this at this time because I think every one of us could be involved in this part, was that all alumni offered to host other alumni in their premises. And I think that's fantastic. Even if we can't do anything else in terms of projects, for lack of, time, bandwidth, whatever else you might have a reason not to do it. But this is something I'm sure all of us can do, right? If we can just create more. I mean, of course, I know that Kerala is going off to Bali. I mean, I think we all are like stunned with that one. But perhaps next time, let's just plan some trips to each other's offices, right? Or maybe all of us together to Bali. That's what Rufina is telling me, but no, that's a joke. So I think to be very serious, I think that's the bare minimum we can 100% do as a way for collaboration, and look for that as an opportunity to get to know each other better, and of course to work a lot more with each other. So that was one very big thing that all alumni kind of said at that point in time. Lucas, is there anything else you'd like to quickly bring in from the SI Labs point of view?
No, not for now.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Lucas. So I'll just continue for another 5 minutes, Dolly. Is that okay to talk about the challenges and opportunities beyond the SI Labs?
Absolutely. All yours, Karen.
Great. Thank you so very much. So I think, as all of you all know, and many of you have been part of the SI roundtables at the Rise World Summit. And of course, you all know that we follow this 3C process of talking about challenges, capabilities, and then collaboration. So that's how we hope that we can come to some kind of outcomes or some kind of follow-ups. And we've had some amount of success from even our SI alumni roundtables where we have worked with each other, and there have been some projects that have been co-created and then implemented. So one of the things we want to talk about this time rather is really about the alumni network itself, right? We believe, and today's is really a validation of what the belief was and why we designed this as it is right now, that we have 100 alumni today. I think till today we've never had any event of this magnitude. So I think a big round of applause for Team Sweden and for SI for pushing us to think beyond just having a simple Zoom session or something of that kind. So I think this has been amazing, which means that we are interested, because otherwise, we wouldn't be spending an evening on Zoom with our videos on, and I could see all videos on practically, right? So that tells you something. These are things you pick up when you start, organizing events. So if that's the case, then what's the challenge to really make us be more active? What are those barriers that we are seeing that perhaps we need to start talking about? Is it that we want events on a Saturday and Sunday? Is it that we're doing it on a weekday? Well, this is a weekday. This is an evening on a weekday, right? Which only goes to show if it's really of interest, we will make the time. Is there the content? Are we not doing the right kind of projects? And the third, I think is that many of us don't know what are the opportunities. Like, we don't bring our whole self in the sense of our projects, our interest, our professional aspects to it. And therefore we feel that, the alumni is just a small, simple, personal part. But I just want to remind everybody, it started as a professional thing, not personal, right? It's great that we have awesome personal, elements to that, but we really are here as professionals. So why are we not leveraging the network for those kind of opportunities? Yeah. So I've spoken about the challenges as what I think. If there's anybody who'd like to talk about any of the three things, because we don't have much more time and we want to do this again to really take this in detail. But we thought that this is a good time to talk about this because we genuinely believe that this is such a rich network, and we really should be, making sure that we leverage the potential to the maximum. So if there are any quick thoughts, one option is, especially for those who are online, if you have any thoughts and ideas, please just put it down in the chat box, because that's the easiest and quickest way to get the maximum number of inputs, as soon as we possibly can. And those who feel in the physical space where you are, you could talk, and I will switch off now so that we don't have any disturbance. we can all, and this is a great, again, example that we can collaborate in spite of the obstacles, right? We are doing a hybrid situation. So what the quick thing is, maybe just 5 minutes, that's it, not more than that. You discuss among yourselves, what is the problem? So this way we are taking the national to the local and then back to the national. So you will discuss what are your challenges, opportunities in 5 minutes flat. And maybe at another time, we will hold another Zoom session where we will share these things and of course talk more about it. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, everybody. A few thumbs up would be nice. Okay, thank you so much, Lucas. Great. So 5 minutes starts now. Well, I don't know about the others, but 5 minutes is of course too little time. But if it is jogged everybody's thoughts and to start thinking more about the network, then I think we've already achieved at least step 1, if I'm not mistaken. So Dolly, I think that's it from me. We shall, as I said, look forward to carrying this conversation on further. But thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, look forward.
Thank you, Karen, and also to Lucas for this session. I will just request Anthony to go back a couple of slides because now we have the Vietnam chapter online with us. Nguyen, could you please confirm you're with us?
Yes, hi, Dolly. Hi, everyone. Hi, SANI. I'm Nguyen, and I believe that Chowk, the chairwoman of SANVI, is also here with us as well.
Fantastic. So if you would like to take your next 5 minutes, please, I hand over to you.
Yeah, sure. Chowk, maybe you could go ahead with your presentation of SANVI. Yeah, just some introduction of SANVI first.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Chowk. I'm the current chairperson of Sweden Alumni Network in Vietnam. It's our great pleasure to have you to join with the workshop that we are having today. I don't have any fancy presentations, and I just want to share a little story of Sweden Alumni Network Vietnam in the year 2022 and some good practice that we have fostering in last year. So our key themes in 2022 is sustainable development, and one of our biggest achievement in the years is that we have organized a sustainable development week in August. It's a change of events that take place in a total new project site of SANVI. Usually, we often organize activity in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, one of the two biggest cities in Vietnam. But this time, we want to explore a new project site that also have student alumni. And we organize in Da Nang City. It's a very beautiful there if there is any chance. So it's a coastal city with beautiful beaches and very beautiful natural resources. And we believe that because this place attract a lot of touristic, so that's why we want to raise awareness of how to travel in a sustainable ways. So that's why we have a series events, including 3 activities. The first one is Ecofika to share about ecotourism. We also invite speakers who are Student Alumni Network, and we also invite the government partners. So that's one of the most important things in our network, because each alumni, once they return to Vietnam after studying from Sweden, they work for a different sector. They work for the government, we work for the business, they work for NGO and many sectors in the society, but they want to contribute to the network. So with many of the still alumni work for the government. So we also invite the government to join with us, and that creates the ownership of the activity, because what we implemented is not just one-off event, but we want to hand over to them the tools and the skills to continue the activity that we foster in the new project sites. So in the first first Eco Fika, we share about how to build traveling and how to travel in the most sustainable way and how to practice, how to bring it into daily practice. So we invite the governments, we invite students, we invite youth unions. So we have a workshop of around like 50 to 60 people. And after the workshop, as we listen to a lot of inspiring information and good practice from Sweden, like the way we separate trust, like blogging and many different ideas that they share. So we did the blogging around the beach. And the most important thing is that we did the blogging. We collect the trust under the sea. And we also invite Vietnam Maritime Rescue Team to join with us so that we dive deep into the ocean and collect the trust. So it's very exciting activity that many of us, we could not dive into the ocean because we don't have the skills, but the government helped us to provide the tools and provide us the license to support with the collecting trust from the seas. And I think we collected more than 100 kilograms of trust under the sea. And we also analyzed with the participants that what could be prevented to not throwing into the trust, not throwing trust into the oceans. So that's the second event. And the third event is the clothes swap. And this was the most successful event. So we organized a clothes swap in the next day, and we attracted around 500 to 700 local people to join that activity. And they said that also is the very first time that they heard about these ideas. And that's just very useful because even though Da Nang is a very touristic place, but the income is still average, and there are many people coming from different places of Vietnam, and they feel that it is such a good way to save money and also to prevent the fast fashion and to to promote the smart consumption. And the thing that we feel very touched is that not just only young people join us at that event, but we also have like different generation of people. We have the elderly, we have the children bring in, and the original ideas that we learned from SI is clothes swap, but we think that, oh, why not just do clothes swap? We do also book swap. So it's clothes swap and book swap, and people bring different things together. And they said that, oh, we should do it in 3 continuous days. 1 day is not enough. And we can see the joy in their face, and many young people stay very late just to have chit chat with us after the event because they also want to replicate this activity, and they want to connect with us. And because we also promote this event on the public event of the province, so many people, especially who are the hotel owners and resort owners, they reach out to us. They say that they are very interested in the Eco Fika and how to promote ecotourism. So they want to have more information about us. So that's why we also share some tips so that they can share back with the travelers in their own area. So I think this is one of the very interesting and inspiring in Alumni Network this year, and we would love to share with you more on how to make it special, make it interesting, and attract as many people as possible. So don't hesitate to drop me any message, or I can share with you some pictures, the videos, and our activity also has been recorded and broadcast on national media. So yeah, that's something that we could a little proud of. And we hope that one day we can create some activity together and replicate in the regional SI Alumni Network. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chow. I couldn't have said it better. You said it yourself, very interesting and inspiring indeed. And I see Nguyen smiling because we have been planning a regional activity together. So hopefully we'll get there quite soon. Nguyen, anything you would like to add from your perspective as well?
I would also like to add, I think one of the kind of like idea that we SANVI and Business Sweden in Vietnam have been working on with regards to the job opportunities for the Swedish alumni. We call it, we coined the term as SANVI for work. So this is actually one of the initiatives that developed in the collaboration between SANVI and Business Sweden. And we understand the fact that like in Vietnam, there are around like 100 Vietnamese graduates from Sweden return home every year, and they're in search for jobs. And also in turn, the Swedish companies, they also often look for candidates with a solid educational background, and of course the good understanding of the Nordic culture and values as well. So therefore, we're thinking of this SANVI for Work initiative will match the demand to the supply of demand of and supply of the job opportunities. So what we were doing in 2022 is that we create this channel between the Swedish companies and the alumni from Sweden, and this is basically just an additional recruitment channel at no cost for the participating companies. So most of the companies are very appreciative of this channel. And the kind of like operative part is also quite manageable between Business Sweden and SANVI. However, for now, it has not really been taken off just yet because of the low demand of the Swedish companies in Vietnam, as well as the pool, the candidate pool. Now we're just trying to grow it even more. So I think that it is a really good initiative for I think other countries to replicate as well. And it is I think if we build it to something bigger, to build a bigger talent pool for the Swedish companies in different countries, different regions, and also to include the job opportunities from different regions as well, I think it could make a really good opportunity for every parties involved. And it could be a really good way to collaborate among the different SI alumni in different countries as well, I would say. So yeah, just a little bit sharing. And if you want to have more information, you can contact me or SANVI, and we'll be very glad to discuss this together if there is any collaboration opportunities for this one. Yeah, back to you, Dolly.
Thank you so much, and a fantastic initiative indeed. So hopefully we get somewhere with this and take more inspiration from you. Thanks once again to you and Chowk for joining us, and have a good evening. So
thank you, you too.
Thank you. Moving on, the one person without whom none of this would be possible, I will request Anthony to skip a few slides and also invite now Mr. Nicholas Dahlberg, the SI alumni manager from the Swedish Institute, and extremely instrumental in what is happening right now. Nicholas, over to you.
Thank you, Dolly, and thank you so much for having me. And I really love that picture of me. It's 15 years old, so I like to look at me like that. No. So what you see in the screen is not me. Just look at the picture. Well, hello from Stockholm. It's so great to see everybody. A good evening to all of you. Thank you for letting me be part of this wonderful conclave. And just to say a few words, it's I've been here the whole evening, and I'm amazed about the presentations and all the energy and what is actually happening in the alumni networks. And it is really special because India is the only country where we have 5 different chapters, and it really shows and it proves that it's so much been going on. And ever since it all started in the SI Alumni Forum in Pune, 2018, it's really exploded. And last year, you arranged more than 30 alumni activities throughout that year. So that's truly amazing. So it's wonderful to meet you from all over India, all alumni members, 100 people attending. That's fantastic. Greetings to all of you from the chapters in Bengaluru, Delhi, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Goa, and Mumbai. And also thank you to Leslie from the Philippines, as well as Nguyen and Chow from Vietnam for attending. It just proves also that this network is truly global. And we have more than 6,500 very active members in 49 alumni networks this year, or last year, 2022. So I just want to say it's been a great journey, and we're looking forward to what's coming in 2023. It's already started. So this year, 2023, we will be focused on even more on the SDGs 16, inclusive societies, and SDG 12, green transition. And I also want to mention that in connection to the World Cleanup Day, the 16th of September, we urge all alumni networks to organize a plastic-free week or a plastic activity in any way of your choice to highlight that day. So it's soon, the 10th of February, which is next Friday, and that's the deadline for the certification application that we hope that you all will be sending in. I also been in contact with Dolly, and she mentioned that some of you might be needing more time to finalize your annual meetings, and that is fine. We have given you 2 more weeks until the 20th of February, but we need you to send in the application before at the latest the 10th of February, and then you can complement with the notes from your annual meeting. That is very important because the 10th of February, the link will be closed. So this is just a quick hi from me. It's been a wonderful evening and of course very inspirational, and it strikes me, you know, what an amazing network this is, and you're doing such a great job. Wonderful. A big thank you to all of you, all active board members, for all your hard work, all your engaged alumni members. And also I want to extend a great thank you to Karen, Dolly, Amrit, Leslie, of course, and then Yen and Chow, and all of you taking part here today. So thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. Amrit, is there anything you would like to add here?
No, I'm just trying to see if we missed something on the slide you have put here, Dolly. But I think a question that came up quite often is, what's the benefit of being a board member now that probably after this meeting, some of us will be having the election, some might do it in a week or 2 weeks by the 20th deadline that Nicholas mentioned. And I think, you know, to be an active board member, of course, it takes time. It does take some commitment. We need to push a bit more than our everyday work into it. But of course, there are some benefits of this. And I think some of these are a little more tangible, some of these are a bit more intangible. But I would say, before I say anything from a benefit perspective, I think the most important thing is that if you want to be a board member, I think it's more a voluntary thing, right? You need to have the drive to do it yourself, despite whatever we say, probably the positive angle of being a board member. But we have seen that some of the board members who've been on the board before have several reasons to do it. One is, of course, that they would like to be able to give back in some way to the experience that they have had with Sweden through the programs or through studying with Sweden. So they would like to do that. They would like to use it as an opportunity. I think most of the times that we have seen is actually to drive something on their professional front. Something resonates in either a program they're running or the work they're doing and what the alumni network is doing. And they can use this as a vehicle to drive that. I should admit, it maybe doesn't pan out absolutely in that way, but that is what we would like to happen, that you really link it to your professional thing so that it doesn't become a burden where the president needs to, or the chairman needs to call you and say, what happened about that? Or, you know, why are things not moving? If we are really able to link it to what we do, I think it's more fun. We can create more impact on the side of our work, as well as personally being gratifying, as well as for the network. Of course, I think the other aspect is being on the board, I think gives you also this great chance to get to know every other alumni in it. I think you have this responsibility of networking, of getting the networking going. So you become a bit more proactive to get to know people. And of course, there are a lot of factors that you get in where, of course, it's gratifying individually, but also from a work perspective, you can start seeing maybe dotted lines of things you can do, both within your alumni network in your city, but also across, and hopefully globally, as Nicholas is saying, across Asia and across. I think it puts you in a unique position You can do it as an alumni, but it puts you in a unique position. And then, of course, a very small thing is you do, of course, get a certificate. It's not a thankless job. You will get a certificate from the SI for being a board member for a particular year. So that's it's a small part of it. You don't work for the certificate, but you do get recognized. We would like to encourage as many of you as possible to think about probably participating in the 2023 boards. I think the current boards have been doing a tremendous amount of effort to make things happen. And I think we've won it. As I mentioned, we won the best alumni chapter once. So hopefully we want more people to take up the challenge to say we can win it twice. I can just clarify. Sometimes we think that the board is responsible for doing all the work in the alumni chapter. I think by default, that's what's happening many times, but it's not designed to be like that. I think the board is more a catalyst, a stimulant. Any alumni can decide a project that they would like to do. The board is only a mechanism as a formal process to help crystallize that project, put it up to SI, guide you how to do it, how to get the funds for it. But it's not the board's responsibility to run every project. It's every alumni has the opportunity and the possibility to do it. And of course, I think in Bangalore, I know how we've done it is usually we have linked one board member to every project just to create an ownership within the board also to keep things going. So look forward to the new boards. And I think we are planning, at least the SI and us, some engagements right after the boards are created in March. So it will not be a free fall. We will try to guide you, both your existing board members, but also SI and us. Yeah, back to you, Dolly.
Dolly, just before, if you don't mind, I just wanted to say that we skipped the slides of this thing. I didn't realize they were there. So can we just see the slides from the SI labs? Because that'll be really good to show them very quickly in 2 minutes. Yeah, one more, please. One more. Yeah, so these are the final work output for that day. But an output, we want to take it to outcomes, So there were, like I said, 5 different projects. Just go to the next one. Yeah. And each of these had very clear activities. And as you can see on the last one, can you close the, as you can see in the last one, we actually had everybody come up and say what they'd like to do and how. So there is a lot of interest. People want to collaborate. We just need to build and create a momentum. So yeah, I mean, we'll share this on the WhatsApp group and maybe by email as well, so that everybody gets a chance to see it better. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, over to you, Donnie.
Thanks, Karen.
Karen, do you want to read out the 4 areas, because you can't see it quite large on the
Amrit, I think I'll request Anthony to go back 2 slides because we have compiled them there. One more, please.
Yes, close.
Yeah, Karen, do you want to just quickly say a line on each?
Okay. So, the first one is obviously collaborative development, because this is something which many of us are in the CSR space, social space. So that was the first one. The second was very interesting. No eyewash for greenwash. Of course, they had to come up with titles and slogans, which was also very nice. And that really to kind of say, how do we encourage people to do real, projects rather than just do it for the visibility. And it was more of an advocacy thing. The third one is something that I am working on, and I had kind of taken that. Or rather, I came in after the team kind of took it over and said that they'd like this. Is a whole framework, and Richa was a part of that session today at the Rise World Summit, where we are saying, how do we get corporate managers, senior management to move from a compliance mindset to a commitment mindset? So we have created a framework over there. And yes, if anybody would like to collaborate on that, very happy to do that. The next was on leveraging finance and policy power to accelerate climate action and sustainability. So there was a very clear focus on financing here. And I think, there is quite a few of you are already working on this part in your own professional, careers. So would be interesting to see how you could maybe come together and do that. And the last was a very nice one, which is focused more for youth. Okay, sustainability simplified, where we really wanted to take it out because people don't understand what do you mean by sustainability, right? There are very, very narrow lenses applied, which is spoken more from a pure environment perspective or, carbon emissions. But there is so much more. And especially when you talk about rural areas and you talk about it from a personal lifestyle point of view, there are so many more opportunities over there to look at. So how can you create awareness around that? I think the group was very interested to do that. And that's why the term sustainability simplified. So in a nutshell, this is it. We will share the documents and hopefully we'll take them further. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. I think once we've shared them, we also invite all alumni to put forward their thoughts, if any others, so we can take this ahead. Okay, moving on to concluding today's conclave and the high energy. I request Anthony to please skip to the, or rather move on to the last slide. And we have Mr. Marcus Lundgren from the Embassy of Sweden. He's the Counselor and Head of Section Trade, Economic and Cultural Affairs. A very, very instrumental person indeed from the embassy, and the embassy has always been supporting the alumni chapters all across India. So over to you, Marcus.
Thank you so much, Dolly, for those kind words. Well, while Nicholas' picture was 15 years old, my picture was 15 kilos ago. So I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking time from your very busy schedules to be here tonight. Thank you to all of the 5 chapters of the Sweden Alumni Association or network here in India, to Kerala, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Maharashtra, and Delhi. It means a lot to us to have you Sweden ambassadors. We regard you as ambassadors for Sweden, Swedish values. Wherever you go in your everyday life, in your workplaces, you inform your friends and colleagues about Sweden and Swedish values that are very important to us. Thank you also very much to the Consulate General, to SI, and especially warm thank you to the chapters in Vietnam and the Philippines. You're staying up way past my normal bedtime. As Anna mentioned at the beginning, we're celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relations with India this year. Yeah. So we want to make it a jubilee year. SKF is starting by celebrating 100 years of being present here in India now in Pune in March. Ericsson is celebrating 120 years. So throughout the year, we're planning different events to mark this occasion, followed by a big reception, a jubilee reception in December, to which I hope as many of you as possible will be able to join us. Before closing, I'd just like to mention a few of the promotional events we have planned for this year, where you might be able to join us and support us. Team Sweden in India is planning trips to 4 Indian states, Karnataka and Telangana from the embassy. And I think the Consulate General is planning to do trips to Maharashtra and Gujarat to speak with the local governments about the investment climate and support Swedish companies present in these states. In September, we also plan a Time for India information trip in Sweden to 4 Swedish cities, most likely Stockholm, Gothenburg, Malmö, and Linköping, to inform businesses, but also universities and incubators about what's happening in India and the opportunities that can be found here. Thank you very much to Renuka Jain for helping us out at the 3 Study in Sweden fairs, and then what we call like research delegation visits to the 3 cities in southern India. This year, we're planning to go to another 3 cities, or actually touching, or we're going to ask for help from 3 different chapters. We're hoping to go to Chennai, Delhi, and Mumbai sometime in November, because the deadline for applying to study at university in Sweden is in January. So end of the year is the most practical. And as you mentioned, the priorities or the Swedish values that you promote, we will also continue promoting innovation, sustainability, and gender equality. Those are the 3 overarching themes for whatever projects we do. If you have any ideas or want to do anything jointly with us, please do get in touch. We're open to. Well, we can't promise to do anything you come up with. We're open to listen to anything. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus. While we did intend to close with those remarks, I think Amrit would like to have the last word. Anthony, could you bring up the slide that I requested you for towards the end, please?
No, I just want to end on a tone of growth, and that's how are we an opportunity for you to help grow this network of alumni. And something that's on the cards and currently running is the recruitment and identification process of the Swedish Institute Management Program, or the SIMP, as they famously call it, 2023. The applications are currently open. As you know, we moved from a full India program to an Asia program. So now this program includes people from Bangladesh, China, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. So we would request you to please share this information with people in your network who you think can gain from participating in the SIMP program, which is built on the pillars of sustainability. Many of you are alumni of that, not only in India, but also if you have your networks in any of these 7 countries, please do share this information. The last date for application is the 13th of February. So we still have just under 2 weeks for the applications to close. It's not a very complicated application process. It's an online application process which people can do quite easily. We will send out the link of the application website after this meeting. So reaching out here for a hand of help to reach out to the right people and to help us grow the alumni network with the next group of business leaders. Thank you. Thanks, Dolly.
Thanks, Amrit. With that, we come to the end of this wonderful evening. Thank you all so much for joining. Karen, for being a great support and putting this together, the consulate, the embassy, Nicholas, our colleagues in Vietnam and Philippines, Lucas, and to all of you who really made this a reality today. So let's continue on with our fabulous work, and cheers. Have a wonderful evening.